promote life, intelligence, strength, health, joy and love, which are tasty, soft, nourishing and agreeable, are dear to the good. What is food of the mode of sattva, goodness, like? God even shows us what type of foods we should eat. We often say that what is there that has not been explained in the Gita. God has spoken about everything. If there's any problem in life, then you would find the solution in the Gita. It has been shown in the Gita by God what food should be like and what we should eat. This is because food is necessary in life. So the food, so the digestion, so the digestion, so the thought, so the thought, so the behavior, so the behavior, so the life, and so the life, then so the next lives. So we have lived our lives in this birth, so our future births will be like. Therefore, the type of food we eat affects us across births. We do not know the seriousness about this. If we know about the seriousness, then it will immediately lead to changes. Food is very necessary. What is a food that people of the mode of sattva, goodness, like? Shri Krishna says that they like food which promotes life, the intellect, strength and vitality, and not only that, but they also increase joy and love. It is said further that they are tasty, wet and oily, nourishing and agreeable. In today's times, it is slightly debatable whether food should be wet and oily. This includes foods such as ghee, clarified butter, oil, makhan, pure butter, etc. Food is agreeable when the heart likes it and when the mind finds it dear. People of the mode of sattva, goodness, like these types of food. Let us try to understand this. The word vivardhana, increase, is used, and this applies to all of the words in the first two lines of this verse. Therefore, food of the mode of sattva, goodness, increases life, increases the intellect, increases strength, increases vitality, increases health, increases joy, and increases love. Food should increase 6 things. First, food should increase one's lifespan. This is food that increases one's life and not food that decreases one's life. People of the mode of sattva, goodness, find such foods dear. The reason for this is that people of the mode of sattva, goodness, know that I am eating to live, I am not living to eat. We ask people in simple language whether they are eating to live or they are living to eat. People of the mode of sattva, goodness, eat in order to live. Therefore, the food that they eat should increase their lifespan and should promote life in them. Even the greatest scientists say that not as many people die in this world because of hunger than the amount of people who die because of eating too much. The difference is that the photos of people who are hungry get printed in the newspapers, whereas the photos of people who eat too much do not get printed in the newspapers. That is why we think that more people in the world are dying out of hunger. The majority of people die because they eat too much. If you were to really ask me, then it is not necessary for us to eat the amount of foods that we eat. My grandmother told me a very sweet story and I used to like it a lot. It is very famous. One time all the human beings on earth went to Shivji at Kailash. Shivji was sitting inside but his vehicle Nandi was outside. When human beings go there, then the vehicle stops them and tells them to stand there. He asks them where they want to go and people say that they wish to meet God. He will tell them that God does not come immediately. Tell me why you have come for. The human beings said that we just wish to ask God how we have become happy. How can we become happy in life? We just wish to ask this. Nandi said that if you want to ask this, then I will ask it. You do not need to come inside. The people stood outside waiting, and Nandi went inside to stand in front of God. God asked Nandi what it was, and Nandi said, Lord, people have come from earth. God, they are asking how they can become happy. Shivji said, Nandi, go and tell them that they should eat once and bathe 3 times a day. If they do just this, then people will be happy. Nandi asked, is that it? And Shivji asked, yes. Nandi walked while remembering in his head, eat once and bathe 3 times, eat once and bathe 3 times, eat once and bathe 3 times. They found someone like you who was laughing, and as he was saying this, and he asked them why they were laughing. They asked Nandi where he was going. He said that he was going to the human beings and he was carrying out God's solution. He once again began remembering in his head, bathe once and eat 3 times a day. Bathe once and eat 3 times a day. Bathe once and eat 3 times a day. People asked, tell us, Nandi, what message did God give? Nandi said that God said that if you wish to become happy, then you should bathe once and eat 3 times a day. The people said that fine. If these are God's instructions, then we will bathe once and eat 3 times a day. They went back. After 6 to 8 months, Shivji glanced down from Kailash and saw that there was a lot of violence and robberies going on, and people were very turbulent and fighting with each other. They had an attitude of taking things away from each other. Shivji thought that people came here in order to be happy, so why has this happened? He called Nandi and said, "Nandi, come here." Nandi asked, "Tell me, Lord, how can I be of help?" Shivji said that 6 to 8 months ago, it is right that all these people came to ask for the solution to happiness. Nandi said, "Yes, Lord, they did." Shivji said, "What then did you go to tell them?" Nandi said that, "God, I told them what you said. This is what bulls do. They say something completely different, and then when they explained, then they had said that you told them to say." He said, "God, I told them what you told me to say. Bathe once and eat 3 times a day." God said that, "I did not say anything like this. I said to eat once and bathe 3 times a day. Now do one thing. If people ate once and bathed 3 times a day, then I will make arrangements for this through earth, through the flowers and fruits that grow by themselves. This is enough to help a person eat once a day, and not only that, but it's enough that they can live their lives in peace. But if people begin to eat 3 times a day, then there is not much food in the material world. It will have to be planted, and that is why you should go there. That is why bulls came to the farms to perform labor." My grandmother would tell me this story, and I would like it very much. What I mean to say is that we eat more than we need. In Ayurveda, it is said that the stomach is split into 4 parts. 2 of these 4 parts are for food, 1 of these 4 parts is for water, and 1 of these 4 parts should be kept empty. We fill the first part as much as it can get filled. Now there is not even space for water, yet we fill this part as well. Even scientists and doctors say that the majority of one's energy is expended on digestion. When we digested food, then energy is expended on this. Therefore, the simpler that our food is, then the longer then our lives will be. When we eat heavy foods, then a lot of energy is taken up to digest them. That is why people get tired so easily. Why did the rishis and the munis live for thousands of years? They would easily live for hundreds of years. And leave aside rishis and munis, there are towns in Afghanistan today, and are towns in Russia today, where it's natural to live for 100 years or for 125 years. You'll see many such elderly people. It is even like this in some places in Japan. And these people were asked what the secret to their long lives was, and they said that 4 things were responsible for this. First of all, they do not have any addictions. Second, their food is very simple. Third, they work very hard in life. Fourth, they have a very stress-free life. We have found out these 4 things for them. They work hard in their lives, and they do not have any tensions in their lives. They do not want to own any factories. The majority of them have no addictions, and they eat simple food. These people do not eat malai kofta. Malai kofta is a bomb of oil. Let us leave it. Food should not be like this. A person should think before eating that when I'm eating, then am I eating in order to lengthen my life, or am I eating to reduce my life so my tongue can enjoy this? Pujyashree Bhupendrabhai Maharaj said that these people who eat to titillate their taste buds, that food should be eaten which increases one's lifespan. Secondly, it is very necessary that promotes one's intellect. It is not just said that one's life should increase. If food only does this, then it's not of the mode of sattva goodness. Shri Krishna has given an entire solution together that food of the mode of sattva goodness increases life, the intellect, strength, health, joy and cheerfulness. Together with life, the intellect should increase as well. One should think about whether this food increases their intelligence. This means that Shri Krishna has said one thing clearly, that the food we eat has an effect on our intellect. If the food does not increase our intellect, then it's possible that the food can decrease our intellect. It is accepted that the food we eat has an effect on our intellect. Does the food that we eat increase our intellect? Does the food we eat increase our strength and our power? Or does it use up our strength and power? What happens is that when the food we eat, for instance, gives us the energy of 200 calories and 160 calories are used to digest it, then it may feel in the beginning that we could use the energy that God has given us. When people are of a certain age, for example 18, 19 or 20, then even if they eat stones, then it would be digested. Please do not try this at home. But then the effect of this is felt when they turn 35 or 40. This happens. One should ask themselves the question of whether the food that they eat increases their strength. And strength is not only the strength of the body, but one should ask whether the strength of the mind increases through the food that they eat. One should ask themselves whether the strength of the thoughts increases through the food that they eat. One should ask themselves whether the strength of the qualities increases through the food they eat. If I were to go further, I would say that one should ask whether the strength of the relationships increases through the food they eat. This is the strength of all types. Does this food that we eat result in an increase in all these types of strength? The food that we eat should promote our health. Does the food that we eat add to our health, or does it reduce our health? Our health should increase. The food that we eat should increase our joy. I like the last two words mentioned here. Joy should increase, and the last word is very important, that one's love should increase. One's joy should increase. We may get joy while eating some food and the tongue will still like it, but has our joy increased? And at the end, Shri Krishna said that one's cheerfulness should increase. This is a word that you should underline. Priti Vivardhana, promote love. In the whole world, there's only been Shri Krishna who has said that food of the mode of sattva goodness is that which increases our love. Food of the mode of sattva goodness is that which increases our mutual love. Therefore, when at the time of people eating, people are saying that you have put enough sweet ingredients in this, and you've done this to our food, your rice keeps sticking onto each other, then no matter if the food that is the most nutritious on a doctor's scale, if that food does not increase your love, does not increase your joy, and your heart keeps burning inside while eating that food, then that food is not of the mode of sattva goodness. When Duryodhana gave Shri Krishna an invitation to eat, and Duryodhana had prepared sweet foods and everything, if Shri Krishna's happiness was not going to increase as a result of this, then he did not sit down to eat with Duryodhana. Many times it so happens that when we have sat down to eat, then if it's the nicest food of all, but we do not become happy as a result of eating this, and inside he keeps burning us, and we ask ourselves why we've eaten this, then this is not food of the mode of sattva goodness. Joy and love are both things that are worth understanding. A voice should come from inside that yes, this is right, and love should increase. The mutual love should increase with the person whose place at whom you're eating, the people with whom you're eating, and the person who's cooking you're eating. Today, selfishness increases. People go for business lunches and business dinners, but love does not increase through them. Selfishness increases. If somebody has called you to eat, then in half an hour that you have got, the first 10 to 15 minutes are spent in mindless chatter. Then when it feels like the other person is in a good mood, then you go straight to the point that what we have to do right now is, the person does this, and if the person does not agree, or if something like this happens, then you will go back on his office, stamping his feet, saying that this person wasted my money. Is this the reason why you went to eat with this person? This is because there was no love at the foundation of this, and there is no joy at the foundation of this. There is only selfishness at the foundation. This is a Western concept, and that is why I always oppose business lunches and business dinners. Yes, if you go to eat with friends, then I am not opposing this. I cannot imagine a situation. Many people think that it's a status symbol to do a business lunch or a business dinner. They say that today I'm going on a business lunch. When a person is going for business lunch, then what do they have in their head? That he keeps calculating, I'll get this from this person, and this person will give me this. This is because he's eating something, and something else is being calculated in his mind. He thinks that I'll get him stuck in this way, and I would have this guy in my fist in this way. Does a person eat with such thoughts in his head? That is why this person is not increasing his joy, and this person is not increasing the love. Rather, he's setting a trap. Just like you use trap to catch mice or snakes, in the same way, this person is arranging a trap while eating. You can go with your friends for pleasure, and this is a very good thing, to which I'm not saying no, but it should not be for selfish reasons. If a person is going to eat for this reason, then it's not right for them to eat it. Such food does not increase their health, and such food does not increase their love. That is why Shri Krishna is saying that it is not of the mode of sattva goodness. Even when a person eats with his family, there should be an increase in love. And I've heard it in ancient times when a daughter was getting married, then before she went to her in-laws, a number of things were taught to her. Out of these things, one of the things that were taught was that daughter, take a lot of care in feeding everyone. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. If you have made someone happy in his stomach, then you've won over him. And during today's times, when the spouse comes home and ties his shoelaces, then the other spouse says, a phone call for you has come. At least let him take off his shoes. At least let him sit. She tells him that is a very urgent. Food should increase love. Such feelings are so enjoyable in reality. Food should be tasted. Each and every taste should be within limits. If they fall outside limits, then they would be of the mode of rajas, passion. God will show us this in the next verse. This should be the taste of the food, and the food should be tasty. This is because taste has been created by the Supreme Soul. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it says, Raso Vei Saha. He, the highest self, is taste itself. This is because a person of the mode of sattva goodness does not eat food that is plain and dry. And what does this taste like? It is taste that increases one's joy and love. It is such a taste that increases one's lifespan. Second, food of the mode of sattva goodness should be oily. According to today's medical science, oil and ghee, clarified butter, should be taken within limits. But for us, this quality is a symbol of love if we look at it from its spiritual meaning. Since a very long time, foods that were oily were made using ghee, clarified butter, and oil came much later on because we always used ghee before. Basically, there were no oils used before. That is why you'll see that a person comes home to eat, then ghee is poured everywhere. The more ghee is given, then the greater the love is. If puran poli were made, then it would be made dipping it in ghee. The more ghee, clarified butter there is, then the more love there is. Therefore, ghee was joined with means of love, and this has been going on since generations. In the end, if rice is served, then there is ghee in the rice as well. And the more love we have towards someone, and the greater our relationship towards someone, then the more ghee that is poured. Therefore, over here we perhaps take the meaning that we do not eat ghee or oil, but in the mode of sattva, there is a strong bond to love. Where there is love at the time of making the food and at the time of serving the food, then that food is of the mode of sattva goodness. And you should see this from experience. If you have gone to eat somewhere and the food has been made with love and has been made with feelings in the house with the family, then you'll find the taste of it different. You get more bliss from coming back having eaten this food than the bliss you get from eating the food in your house. No matter how much control you exercise, there can be no control here. Why? Because they are not just grains of food, and they are not just instruments made from cooking. They are inside the food, the feelings in the heart of the person who made the food. This is called oily. This is food made with the strength of love, and many times food may be very nice in taste, but you still feel as if you've eaten too much. This is because such food was not made with love. The next quality of the food of the mode of sattva goodness is that it is nourishing. Such food makes one steady. This means the nutrients of this food stay in the body for a long time. This is called nourishing food. This is food that lasts in the body in the form of nutrients, minerals, vitamins, proteins, carbohydrates, etc. You should eat such food from which all these things last in the body. This is called nourishing food. Another meaning of nourishing food can be that it is constant. For example, many people eat thick chapatis and yogurt in the morning and khichdi, rice and lentils in the evening. From this, there is also an increase in the mode of sattva goodness. Therefore, at least such a person's mind stops running after food. The person knows what he was eating in the morning, what he was eating at lunchtime, and what he was eating in the evening. The matter is finished. Many people would go to a great saint and people would say that the memory of the great saint was very good. In order to test his memory, people will only ask one thing: that great soul, on 8th August 1988, what did you eat for breakfast in the morning? The great saint immediately gave the reply and named the food that he ate. Then somebody else would ask him what he ate on 12th September 1989 for lunch. The saint told the person what he ate at that time. Somebody else asked what he ate at 21st of November 1990 for dinner. Without even thinking for a moment, the saint said what he ate at that time. Somebody else asked what he ate on 15th December 1991 for dinner, and the saint immediately told him what he ate at that time. Everybody found it strange. How does the saint know all of this? Because all of them would scratch their heads, even when somebody asked them what they ate 2 days ago. And this great saint could immediately remember what he had to eat several years ago. Many people asked the great saint how he could remember all of this, and the great saint said that I do not even need to remember because I've been eating the same thing for the last 25 years. I eat 2 bananas and drink milk for breakfast. At lunchtime I eat this, and for dinner I eat this. I do not need to remember anything. You change your dates and you think about which dates you want to ask for. Otherwise my answer is just this: you should eat the food that makes you steady and the food that nourishes you. Food of the mode of sattva goodness is also agreeable to the body. This is food that is dear from its nature. It is not said anywhere in this verse that such food should be dear to your tongue. Food should be pure from its nature. There are many types of food where if you sit down to eat, then you begin to get an experience of bliss. Such food can be called food of the mode of sattva goodness. If I were to say it in short, then if the food you eat gives happiness to the mind, such food is of the mode of sattva goodness. The body likes it, but the mind also likes it, and the heart also likes it. Such food is of the mode of sattva goodness. Such food is dear to people of the mode of sattva goodness. We should really think about the foods we like eating and which of 3 boxes they put us in. How can you purify food? Great saints say that if we look at everything, that yet despite this there remains faults in food. Even if the food that comes to us is of the mode of sattva goodness, if there is a fault in it, then how can we remove it? How can we increase the mode of sattva goodness in food? Great saints say that if we remember the Lord in every time we chew the food, then the faults of the food go away. I once read a very beautiful verse. Gavale gavala kurvan, Ramanama kirtanam yakashit purushonyati anadoshen lipyate. If food is purified by chanting the name of Ram, the mind becomes pure. When one gains victory over the relish of the tongue, then all senses come under one's control. When you chew each and every crumb of food, then you should remember God by thinking the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. If you do this, then the faults of the food go away, the mind gets a lot of peace, and the body gets good nourishment. What is food of the mode of Rajas passion like? What type of food do people of the mode of Rajas passion like? The Lord describes this answer in the next verse. Okay, end of class.